Well, Nick, I know you have a hobby, if you'd call it a hobby, where you like to plan out how you would do big cinematic universes. You've been telling me plans for years now about how you would do several movie trilogies and several character arcs with all these big DC names and how they would all tie in together and how they would ultimately begin and end. Mm-hmm. And with all this talk of the DCU and January, we're here. Apparently, we're gonna hear the first announcements from James Gunn's new DCU.
You're like, we've made it. Where's the fucking DCU news, James Gunn? I've been waiting all day.
So I figured, or we figured,
that's right.
Why not now? What better time will we have when there's all this speculation about where the DC universe is going to start, go, end? Mm-hmm. Why not give our own shot at it? And Nick, you do this a lot in your spare time, and I do not. This is not something I do, but I like the process and I like hearing about it, and I want to hear what you would do if you were in James Gunn's position as, co-CEO of the DC franchise, DC company.
Damn, if I was co-CEO, oh wow.
Let's just say you are full-on CEO. You have all creative rights. How would you start a DCU?
I'm gonna try to keep this brief because otherwise this would be like a 10-hour long podcast maybe. But
yeah, aim for an hour.
An hour, okay. Well, I'll say this. Like one thing I would do, and this isn't knocking any of the other like DC filmmakers, but because I do feel like Snyder was kind of, and also like when I was coming up with these ideas, it was at a time when I was like watching the Snyder movies a lot. So some of these are kind of like, if I was gonna kind of take what Snyder did a little bit and do something different, or if it's a character that just hasn't been seen before on television, like okay, or in film, like okay, what would I do with that? Because that is like also something I would want to do is kind of give lesser known characters a spotlight.
Yeah,
not in the way that James Gunn did it though, like Polka Dot Man and
not like Z tier, but like B and C tier.
Yeah, because there's some really cool characters out there that legit just have not come to the big screen.
I know you haven't gotten there yet, but do you have any examples of like your favorites that haven't gotten limelight?
I would say Icon for sure.
Mm-hmm.
One of the Dakotaverse characters or Milestone Comics characters, and Static obviously, or Static Shock, because the show was really cool when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it would be cool to kind of roll him in. Jon Stewart. We almost got Jon Stewart in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but
yeah. Apparently the Green Lantern HBO show is still on track, which is a little weird to me, but
it's like I don't know what's going on with that.
But anyway, Jon Stewart.
But basically, like the long and short of it is, I would, because also I am a Superman fan, so I would, and I hear like they're kind of trying to do this right now, but I would make it where Superman is the center of this DC universe. So all the movies before Justice League, like, because I would do all of the solo movies that lead up to it. It would start off with him, like it would be Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and then maybe Aquaman, Flash, Green Lantern, and then Justice League. But like it would start with him, and the Justice League villain would be a Superman villain. It would be Brainiac, but then like I would have it where like that movie essentially kind of sets up like a Superman, Supergirl movie, because Brainiac comes through. He has all of the collections of the cities, and end credit scene, like they find Supergirl in there. So then,
okay,
yeah. So then it would be a movie like after the first Justice League movie, it would be a movie kind of like that Superman Supergirl comic or Superman Batman Apocalypse.
Yes,
that animated film where it would be Superman kind of showing Supergirl the ropes, and it's her kind of trying to like figure herself out. What's up?
And a side note, you brought that movie up, Superman Batman Apocalypse. Which is based on Superman, Batman, Supergirl, the comic. Mm-hmm. I recently read the comic and I watched the movie, and I will say I think the movie was had a better portrayal of Supergirl.
Oh yeah.
Personally, that's my opinion, because there's an end fight scene between Darkseid and Supergirl in the movie, and it's so cool. She kicks Darkseid's ass. I don't remember if she like defeats him on her own, but I remember she is a badass in the movie.
Yeah.
And it would be such a cool introduction to her character if they were to do that, live action in film. And in the comic, that wasn't there. In the comic, she really didn't do much of anything. So it would be really cool to see a Supergirl on the big screen who like really just kicks ass, takes names, and it does things that Superman wouldn't or couldn't. That'd be very cool. Just a side note.
Yeah, because I'm with you on that. Because like I feel like we do need a Supergirl movie.
It's time. I think it's time. Like the show was popular. I believe the show was popular. It went on for several seasons, and the only other thing we have Supergirl is that other live action. Yeah, is that like 70s one?
That's from the 80s.
Okay.
I think it came out 1984. Don't quote me on that, but
okay.
If it did, that would be really interesting.
That was a movie I couldn't even watch. Like I like bad movies, but that one was it was like beyond dry. That was ultra dry.
I tried to tell you, man. I was like, I can't.
That was
do
bad.
It, bro.
But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, like I'd have her like Superman's presence is kind of is felt throughout. So like he has his first solo movie. He maybe cameos in someone else's movie, but I would try to, I wouldn't have him cameo like for the sake of cameo. Like it would be, you would see him there, but it would serve the story, and also like it would make sense for him because he'd be there as like Clark Kent, like I'm just doing like some reporter stuff, and then as Superman he gets kind of like mixed in, but he doesn't take over the movie like that because it's someone else's movie.
And I actually. That brings up a question I had, because you were laying out you would do Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman. You said all those solo titles and then Justice League. Are you tapping into like how the MCU did it, where they had like individual solos where they really didn't cross each other until Avengers, or would they start crossing each other more like kind of like how Marvel's doing it now, where there's several Marvel characters in each Marvel movie or show?
Yeah, I would have it if there's an opportunity, and if it makes sense like story wise, then yeah, like other characters could potentially cross over. So
I think like by now that's kind of the way to do it. Yeah. It seems archaic to wait all the way until Justice League.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if it's like we know all of these characters exist. Like with the MCU, with season one, with phase one, where they didn't really cross over like that. Like, okay, sure, I guess, because why would they? And then the Avengers movie happened, and that was really cool because they all finally crossed over. And then after the Avengers, it was kind of back to no crossovers. We'll reference what happened in the Avengers every now and then, sure, but
that's it.
Yeah, it's like no crossovers. Like I feel like Captain America or Black Widow or Hawkeye could have been in Iron Man 3 to help him out. I feel like Iron Man maybe could have even been in The Winter Soldier because he was one of the people that was targeted. So it's like, it's weird that y'all, like no one's communicating here. So I would try to, I would just say like, no, fuck that. If it makes sense for them to like cross over, then have them cross over.
And you would mention if it makes sense for Superman to cameo, then you would do it. And I feel like a way to really make Superman feel like the backbone of this DCU, and because it's Superman, I feel like it would make sense for him to know a lot of shit that's going on on Earth. So it would be really cool if he has like some part in almost every solo movie leading up to Justice League, because like I just feel like Superman would, and it also would just drive home like, this is a central figure. Yeah, like, because he's been so slept on in the movie. Like, even in the really, really good movies, it's still like, oh, you guys aren't, like, fully taking They're toning him down.
Yeah, and it's like, nah, like, he would be there. Because also, like, I would do it where it's like, he's kind of like, he's everyone's best friend. Like, he's the one that everybody essentially looks up to.
Yeah.
You feel me? So you have his solo movie, you have him pop up in like the other solo movies in Justice League, and then like he's being like an older brother, father figure to like Supergirl, and then that'll kind of like set up her little trilogy or whatever. And then like somewhere in phase 2 after that first Justice League movie, it's all of these movies, da 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 da, and then you lead up to like the death of Superman. But this is after like everybody is like, oh yeah, Superman, and da da da. You kill him off in that movie, and then you have it where like Lex Luthor is in some new position of power in that movie. Because also with that, you can kind of get like metaphorical, because Superman, like, he kind of in a sense represents the sun, because he's the center of this universe. The sun is the center of the universe, and he's like powered by the sun, and like Lex Luthor is the ultimate like human villain kind of. So it's like he kind of represents like darkness. So it's like when light fades when Superman dies, and then Lex Luthor gets this new position of power, like, darkness rises when light fades, and you can kind of play like that. And also with this movie, it's not just Superman and Doomsday. You have it where the entire Justice League shows up, and maybe Superman's kind of busy with something at first, and that's why he's not there right away. But you have the whole Justice League show up, and like all the other DC characters that we've like introduced, even if they're like not part of the Justice League. And then Superman shows up, he dies, and it's like this crazy thing, and it's like, it's all sad and stuff like that, da 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 da. And then the rest of the movies in Phase 2, it's like there's a lack of hope. They all feel a little bit darker after Superman died, and you have it where like they're not like, when they're trying to fight their villain, they can barely even do that.
It'd be cool if it would give off kind of Infinity War vibes, where like, it's just overwhelming odds, and it's like you don't know if the heroes are gonna be able to make it out of this one. Yeah,
because it's like when Doomsday shows up, he would be just washing everybody, and it's like there's an evil out there that killed Superman. So one, like, existentially, what does that mean for us, especially since Superman is dead? And like two, like, when it comes, like, are we even going to be able to beat it? Because also, like, after all of that, like, Justice League 2 would be Justice League versus the Crime Syndicate, which is like the evil Justice League, but Superman's not there.
Right. So
the Crime Syndicate comes through, and like, yeah, they win obviously, but like it's barely. And like they do have that talk, like, okay, Superman was here, like this would have been a whole lot easier.
Right.
We all basically,
like, even though he's not there, his presence is still felt. Like, though it's the absence of presence.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, like we miss you because you're our friend, but like we need you because you were the defender of this planet, bro.
Right. I kind of wanted to did you talk about what your first Justice League would be about?
The first one, because I would need to look back at these notes, but I remember like it was the Justice League, they all meet up in that movie for the first time in his brain. And also an idea I had that kind of like spawned this was like, what if they did it where they have all the solo movies, and each end credit scene to that solo movie, it's like a character like reacting to the news, and like they see like, oh, like this alien ship has arrived in the city. They all see the same thing, and it all, but it's all like from their different perspectives.
So each of their solo movies is more or less ending at the same time period?
Yeah, at least the end credit scene would be. But yeah, so it's like, oh, wouldn't that be interesting? And it's like it just leads right into it, and then like after in Phase 2, like, yeah, it'd probably be like just a bunch of crossovers. Because also like I know it wouldn't just be crossovers for the sake of crossovers, but I would just really want it to like really, really feel like it's a connected universe. And so they would defeat like the Crime Syndicate or whatever. But like after that, in Phase 3, like, because it's like it's the public kind of like, okay, we're happy that the superheroes are here to defend us, but we didn't really think about what happened if they turned on us until the Crime Syndicate came here. So now there's this like Phase 3 kind of starts like, it's like no one is really fucking with the superheroes like that. And
is it Justice League versus the government?
No, it's not. But that would be really cool. Like, cause
I thought that's what you were, like, the JLU.
Low key, like that probably would have been dope. Okay, yeah. So yeah, maybe this is like a 4-phase thing. I don't know. But the initial idea was like they don't fuck with them, and then Phase 3 is leading to Darkseid, and Superman comes back to life at some point, but like not in the way he did in the comics. It's like a more cosmic kind of way, but also like
Nick,
what's up?
How?
Well, the idea I had was like he dies in Death of Superman, and then after Death of Superman is some of the solo films, and there's a reign of the Superman movie. So we introduced the character Steel and Eradicator and Cyborg Superman, and the end credit scene to that would be it was basically I had it where it's like Clark kind of wakes up in some weird space and you could tell he's dazed, he doesn't know what's going on, and then either like Metron from the New Gods or Dr. Fate comes through. And it's like
Dr. Fate would be cool.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, when they come through, either one of them, like they're like, it's not your time, and like there's some shit about to pop off, so we got to go. So then, and that's kind of like how that scene ends, and then we wouldn't pick back up with that until Justice League 3, when like oh man, Darkseid's coming through, and we need to gather around, because there would be like some cutaway scenes where it's, let's just say it's Dr. Fate, where it's Dr. Fate guiding Clark kind of through the afterlife, but also it's like we have to bring you back to life so you can fight Darkseid. And at some point it's like, we have to go to this place because it's gonna maybe like boost your powers or something like that. It's gonna like reawaken you in a way that it's never happened before. Like, and they get to the spot and it's the source wall, so it's the edge of the known universe.
Dude, I've said this before, but I love the concept of the source wall. That is so cool.
It's crazy to me that they haven't really done anything with it until like 2018. But even then, like that kind of got swept under the rug. I think people just weren't really feeling it.
For those who don't know, do you want to explain what the source wall is?
Yeah, the source wall, it's the edge of the universe, and for the longest time in DC Comics, that's all it was. So no one ever knew what was like past it. And the wall itself, when you look at it, it's made up of all of these other alien beings, and that's because those beings tried to cross, but they either just weren't like worthy or ready for it, so
they become part of the wall.
They become part of the wall,
yeah, part of the source wall.
Yeah, and then that Justice League Unlimited you had mentioned, they had it, spoiler alert, but like Lex Luthor had to cross the source wall, and he came back out.
That shit was crazy.
I feel like low-key, like, oh really, Lex?
I like that though. It's like that he really is Superman's like just antithesis, He can handle that. He is fucking dangerous,
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
And also, the source wall was in what we were talking about earlier, Superman, Batman, Apocalypse movie, the Supergirl comic.
Yeah. I remember it more in the comic. I haven't seen the movie in a bit.
Yeah, I read the comic recently, and in the comic, Superman threw Darkseid into the source wall as like a final... he didn't, it's not killing him. It's like an eternal banishment almost. Like you can't escape that on your own.
Definitely check out Superman Batman Vengeance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But
yeah, you were talking about the source wall.
Yeah, like he goes to the source wall and he comes back and he's not like all powerful, but he's a lot more powerful. So it's like, okay, this is gonna help us defeat Darkseid.
Would it be interesting if the source wall is just what gives him the power to come back to life?
Oh, that could be really cool. Yeah,
that's what like basically brings him back to the realm or whatever.
No, that'd be dope. That would be dope. I'm not even gonna lie to you, but I had it because I wanted to. This was gonna kind of set up Superman 3 a little bit.
How many Superman movies has there been? Yeah, it's been a little jumping back and forth.
Yeah, I know, because it's like, it's a lot. But so far, it was Superman 1. I'm going to just do the movies that like he legit like has a big part in.
Yeah.
At least most of them. But yeah, Superman 1, Justice League, that Superman Supergirl movie, Death of Superman. Like, not Justice League 2, but because it's Ultraman, like it would kind of be the same actor maybe.
Yeah.
Reign of Superman and credit scene.
Okay.
Dang, yeah, and then Justice League 3.
So 6 movies.
Yeah.
Dang, that's not a lot. Like it is, but it isn't,
Yeah, like it's not a lot, but it's like the stuff that he's doing is like, okay, this is kind of significant in some way, but crosses the source wall, like ultra powerful. He comes back. They help fight Darkseid, and when they fight Darkseid, in the comics, like how he's like, I'm looking for the anti-life equation.
Yeah.
In the animated show, they portrayed it as a physical object, but in some of the comics, they treated it like an actual equation, and this equation was used to help Darkseid enslave worlds, because it was like, if you apply it was like hopelessness plus despair multiplied by like this, and this, then it's gonna make them easier to conquer. So, and especially now, like with Superman gone, and like I guess all this other shit. Because also I did have it at one point where Lex becomes president, and as president, like he's making all these like kind of like rules and laws and stuff that is limiting superhuman use of their powers or whatever.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
I going back to that anti-life equation, how it's kind of portrayed differently. You reminded me of Tenet, where like the algorithm is like these really, like, we don't understand it. It's these weird objects that
mechanical pieces
you put together, but even after they're put together, I feel like you have to understand how to use them.
Yeah, because when they did, I was like, I don't understand how this is a time machine.
But that could be really interesting. Like if the anti-life equation is just these really obscure pieces of like ancient alien technology, and maybe they're shown. Maybe one of them is like shown throughout the Solo movies. Like it's on Earth, and maybe dope. Superman is like, what is this thing?
Yeah.
But he never figures it out or something.
Yeah.
And then you come to find out that's like one of the final pieces, and Darkseid has like, kind of like the Infinity Stones. He already collected a bunch of the other ones, and he's like, hey, I need this. I'm
it's just
coming
that
for
one
it.
Last piece.
Yeah. Maybe that would make it like extra dire. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That could be interesting.
Like he would be on some reckless shit.
Yeah, he'd be like, he's Darkseid. He's not going to go soft on anything. Yeah. But this is the final piece of the puzzle that he's been looking for who knows how long. Yeah. He's going hard.
He's about to crack Earth in half, bro.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Oh, yeah, that would be dope. Like a pissed off Darkseid versus the Justice League. Because also, like at this point, like I would have it with the Justice League. They're essentially all powered up in a way.
Yeah.
So then when they meet Darkseid and he just like slaps Green Lantern, or because at this point Green Lantern, I'd have her like through like his movie arc, he has all the rings at this point, so he's a White Lantern.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I would take it there just to like really make Darkseid like a threat. I wish I thought all these ideas like all the way through, but
there's only so much time.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, so Superman comes back, they fight Darkseid, and yeah, because like Darkseid like almost is able to successfully use this anti-life equation because of how kind of because of the darker tone of phase 3 after everything that happened. So like, it's easy for him to like,
each phase kind of gets darker and darker.
Yeah, like phase 1 would be kind of like the golden age, like this is when all these superheroes popped up and like saved the day, and then like phase 2 would be kind of, you know, oh, this is where Superman died,
right?
So it's like this is like the dark age or whatever.
Yeah, like the beginning of the darkness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then phase 3 would be like the return, and then it's like even more glorious than the golden age or whatever. Because it's like,
I think this might have actually been in a previous HeadCanon, but I remember us throwing around the phase like it ends, you know, golden age, dark age, and then like the age of superheroes.
Yeah,
that's the final one, and it's like this kind of optimistic outlook. Yeah, Superman perished, but look at the legacy he left.
Look at what he like inspired.
Look, everything is better because he was there. Yeah. He's not here now, but look at where we are. Yeah, that could be very cool.
That'd be dope. Oh, hire us, Warner Brothers DC.
Especially for superheroes, like I'm always story-wise more inclined for happy endings, but something about superheroes, it's like these high-powered beings that protect. It's like, that should be happy. That should have like an optimistic ending. Like,
yeah,
because it's like they're doing everything for the good of everything. Yeah. So it's like, I feel like bare bones, there's a goodness there, and I feel like ending it on a high note is just like heartwarming in a way.
Yeah, I agree.
And I know there are stories where it won't go that way, but I'm just saying, like as a general, yeah, exactly.
I'm with that, yeah. Like the only character I'd give like a sad ending to maybe is like Batman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just because he's such like a kind of like a dark and tragic character. I would want it to be happy, like who wouldn't? But it's like, nah, the way the story is, like,
I feel like you can have his ending be sad, but like meaningful and like complete.
You know what? I think I told you about like how in his trilogy I'd have it where like he died at the end. I thought of a way where, because he wasn't going to be in Justice League 3, because like Batman 3 was going to take place before. I thought of a way to kind of have like the similar ending, but have him so he doesn't die in that one, and he would still have to die in Justice League 3. But
do you want to start with? Do you want to? You haven't talked about Batman at all. Do you want to start from the beginning?
Yeah, I'm gonna finish the Superman idea first, but then I'll go back to Batman. But yeah, he comes through and they fight Darkseid and they stop him. I think I had it where like they didn't kill him because it was. I remember there was like a comic where like Darkseid can't die because like Darkseid is the embodiment of evil, but the universe needs to be balanced. So as much good as there is, there needs to be like not much evil. So I was thinking like, what if there was a scene with like Superman and some like higher deity, like maybe Superman killed Darkseid and the deity just like brought him back, and it's one of those scenes like what are you doing? And the deity is just kind of on like a higher plane, like it's balanced. You wouldn't get it, bro.
You know, it would be interesting.
What's up?
Because Darkseid, there's only one Darkseid in the entire multiverse. He exists outside the multiverse, and so kind of piggybacking off of that balance idea, what if like and I don't know if this works into your DCU at all, but it'd be interesting if like they do kill Darkseid. But whenever he's killed, he's brought back outside of the multiverse. Like he basically just respawns in another area, and kind of like that idea with actually no, scrap that. That's not a headcanon. And so like he respawns outside the multiverse, and he just comes like back immediately, and each time he's like more angry that he was defeated.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just like each time is scarier and scarier, and he has a leg up because he knows how he was defeated last time, and it's like you can't do it again.
That would be dope.
That would be so terrifying.
That would be fucking sick. Yeah,
that'd be a really cool like 2 or 3 parter, like Justice League 3 part 1. They kill him, and then you're like, why is this part 1? And then like the next movie or like the end credit scene, you see like a boom tube open back up, and he just comes out, no more wounds. He's like fully ready to go, and the Justice League is like all tattered, and they're like, what? that would be terrifying.
Fucking insane.
And then part 2 is when they couldn't kill him without Superman. Never mind.
Yeah, they wouldn't be able to do shit. Yeah, see that's the thing that I would just kind of want to like emphasize is like Superman is a much more important character in the DC universe than people realize. Because I've talked to people a lot, and they kind of like miss the point of Superman. Like, he just flies around and he's the strongest, and it's like it's more than that. So when I'm reading comics and Batman's the leader of the Justice League and Superman's there, that to me is just it's a stretch. If Superman wasn't there, then sure. Like the way they did it in Justice League, where Batman was like, I'm gonna form the Justice League, but he still did that because of Superman.
Right.
You feel me? So yeah. But yeah, then after Justice League 3 is Superman 3, and I would base this off of All-Star.
Nice.
Where he's dying, because I'd have it where he went past the source wall, and like his body has like a lot more power now, but it can't physically handle it. So you can have that thing where his cells are deteriorating, and so he knows he's dying. He's not scared that he's dying, because I've already done this, but what I'm scared of is leaving the earth like unprotected.
Right.
So it's mostly him trying to get the world ready for that. He's saying his goodbyes. He's building like Superman drones. I like that from the comics. I was like, that'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But and then something happens, and the the sun is dying. He has a fight with Luthor, because I'd have where Luthor at this point is like, I had all these other ways where I tried to kill you. I'm gonna just give myself powers and fight you like one-on-one. He defeats Lex. He has to say goodbye to Lois. Oh dang, and his son. I forgot like the end credit scene of Death of Superman was Lois like finds out she's pregnant. So then in Reign of Superman, she has her like 3 or 4 year old son, and then Superman, when he comes back, like in between these movies, like he's trying to build a relationship with his son and everything like that. So then when he has to go away at the end of Superman 3 to fix the son, it's more tragic because it's like, oh, I feel bad because I wasn't there like the first few years of your life, and now like I was just starting to get to know you, and I have to say goodbye again, and I got to say goodbye to my wife, but like I know this is gonna save the world and everything's gonna be good. So like he does it, and you know, and then I would set it up like maybe the son will become like a Superman figure in the future.
Well, that'd be interesting. Like he goes into the sun, right? And I know this is your idea. You told me a while ago. Like he goes into the sun, and because he has like source wall energy, and also because he's Superman, when he goes into the sun, he reignites it. Like the people of Earth, they start feeling stronger. They start getting like residual like radiation, but not bad radiation.
Yeah, because like it's like his essence is kind of like radiating out through the sunlight.
It would be really cool if like it ends on the sun, and it's like, yeah, my dad is gone, but I still like can feel him.
I thought you were gonna say, yeah, this is me. This is my story. You're probably wondering how I got here.
No, it's like some really touching thing. Like my dad sacrificed himself, but even now I still feel him every day. I still feel him protecting me. He gives me power. I love you, Dad, and it's like a send off. Yeah, that would be really cool. That'd be really sweet.
That'd be super heartwarming. That would be like a really heartwarming air quotes death.
Yeah,
and it would be a good way to.
It'd be satisfying, and it wouldn't be like.
And it'd be like
it wouldn't be melancholic or anything.
Yeah, because also like if you could even look at it as like he didn't really die. He kind of just like transformed in a way.
Yeah, it's like energy never disappears. It just it can never transforms or something.
It can never be created or destroyed. It can only transform. Yeah. Oh wow.
I think that would be and like it's this really soft. The piano theme is playing, and it's just like a really sunny day, and it's the boy on a Kansas farm or something.
It's like do 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 when I see you again.
That would be really nice. So
I like that.
A Superman trilogy, a Justice League trilogy. Okay. So
it might even low-key be a Justice League, like whatever trilogy is, but for number 4, because they would
quadology,
because they would all be in Death of Superman.
True.
And they would all get like fucked up.
Yeah.
Superman would get fucked up the most, but like he can take it though. Like, yeah, Green Arrow. You're not on my level. You know what I mean? Like it would be like, it would be like that. Yeah. And it would be gruesome, bro.
So, who are your main players? What are all the characters that you want?
The main Justice League is Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, and Flash.
No Hawkgirl?
No, I don't know like much about her. She was cool in the show, but it was like I've only really ever seen her in that medium. And she was never like my like favorite character.
Yeah, I just love that show so much. It would be really cool if they just like legit if they had no other reason other than they want to recreate the show in live action and they put a Hawkgirl in there and be like sick.
That'd be dope.
I would be down, but I agree. That's my only real exposure to her.
Cause she seems like a cool character, but also like they haven't. Like nothing besides the show, nothing I've seen her in really made me say like, oh wow, she's cool. Because even in Young Justice, which like I like that show a lot, and like I would like to see more of that version of the Justice League. They had Hawkgirl on the show, but she didn't have any lines. Like she was kind of just a background character. And then
didn't she look really cool? I remember her suit was cool.
She had it was like all armor. It wasn't how they kind of low key did lame superhero suits back then.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then she was in that animated Jon Stewart movie.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Like it was cool. I don't remember her doing a lot. I only saw it the one time, and it was like a while ago. But yeah, it was kind of like Yeah, it was straight, but it was kind of like, okay. But yeah.
So
But
you named off your 6 main in the Justice League.
yeah, there would be the Justice League, but I would still do like a Green Arrow movie, Icon, Static, all of these other characters, or at least like some other characters.
Would these other characters have team ups of their own, or are they just characters that are existing and sometimes help the Justice League? Like, what I guess what I'm asking is like, how would they tie into your picture?
They for the most part would be introduced in like phase 2, and they would just kind of have solo stories. Like some of them would cross over a lot. Like Green Arrow, I'd have him cross over with like Nightwing and Deathstroke and Batman a lot. Like going back to the whole cameo thing, when Green Arrow's kind of coming up, like I would have Bruce Wayne kind of be there like in the boardroom, and like, he's low-key doing Batman stuff, but Green Arrow like never like puts 2 and 2 together. Like, and I'm not saying I would play like Green Arrow like he's an idiot, but he would be, one of the more...
He's not the greatest detective.
Exactly, he's not. And also like Batman is, so he would know how to just kind of like blend in, and you could even have like a little comedic scene where Green Arrow's like, Bruce Wayne is a fucking asshole or something like that. Yeah. And it would be like that, yeah. Because I also like, I would want the movies to be like fun movies, not how Marvel is making their stuff quote unquote fun these days. It wouldn't be like all this like kind of forced comedy and whackness like that. Like it would be.
Do you have an example of what tone or what kind of fun you would go for? Like another movie or something?
Another movie. It would be like, I guess in a general sense, like at least like kind of like baseline, like how that the first Iron Man movie was, where it's like it's a PG-13 movie, it's a superhero movie. There's some jokes and everything, but it's not. We're not making the jokes a point, but like that general feel of the first Iron Man movie, like all of them maybe would kind of have that feel. Okay. Where it's like yes, it's a superhero movie, but it's still, we're telling a relatively mature story, but there is some fun elements, and
the fun elements come from the well-written characters, not from injecting a joke at the 5-minute mark.
Exactly.
Okay.
It like even like the Dark Knight kind of like something kind of like that, where it's like this is matured superhero storytelling, but you can potentially take the family to it.
Before you said Iron Man, I was thinking Harry Potter Prisoner of Azkaban, where like there's fun moments in it, but like the overall tone is like kind of serious.
Yeah, but also like some of these like tonally they would be different. So like the Superman movie would feel a lot different than the Batman movie. It would be kind of like that. Like Batman would legit be dark and rainy and stuff, and Superman would be kind of like it's in the sunshine, and it's like the Golden City and Metropolis.
And I feel like that contrast would just help the DCU feel more distinct as well.
And every movie would have its own feel. So again, Batman wouldn't feel like Superman, Aquaman wouldn't feel like Green Lantern, Flash would be a sci-fi movie, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Because that's one thing with the Marvel movies, like they all kind of feel there's a certain sameness with a lot of them. Even with the costume designs. Yeah. And like I would have it where like maybe it's the same, and again, like if I was like running the studio, maybe it's the one costume designer, but I would be like make each suit feel different. Like Superman suit, again, kind of like what Snyder was doing. Superman suit would feel alien, Batman suit would feel like vigilante body armor, Wonder Woman suit would be like Greek battle armor, Green Lantern suit would it would look like a uniform, but it's made out of energy. Flash's stuff at first would be homemade, but because he knows Batman, he's like, I'll make you a suit, fuck it. Really. Green Lanterns or Green Arrow stuff initially would be homemade, but also like because of the whole like Batman thing, I'd have where like Batman gives him the suit.
Really?
Yeah, but
it'd be interesting if he has like tracking devices and a bunch of like microphones in it, so he just like has taps on all these people.
Yeah, because also like the way Batman gives him the suit, like it would be something where like the board meeting ends and like Bruce Wayne leaves and he's like, hey Queen, I think someone like left this for you, and then like he leaves, he's like, oh, I fucking hate that guy, and then he opens it up and it's the Green Arrow suit, and there's a note, and like he knows like it's from Batman or something like that. But yeah, and maybe like you only see Bruce Wayne in that movie a few times, you don't even see him suit up as Batman, so that would be interesting.
That'd be cool. Like and maybe he's in the. You see him a couple times, but like on rewatch, you see him a lot more.
Yeah.
Like in the background. That'd be cool.
That'd be dope. That'd be really dope. But yeah, and also like how I would with this DCU, like after that Dark Side battle, that would be like it's all been leading up to that. And then there would be like a phase 4, but it would just be like the kind of extra like epilogue movies and just it would just
tying everything up.
Yeah, like this is kind of where we are now. This is maybe where we're leading, but then that was it. I wouldn't keep going too far after that.
Okay, so yeah, okay, kind of like you have the story, and it doesn't. You don't want it to seem like their story ends.
Yeah,
but our viewing of it ends.
Yeah,
you want to insinuate the story goes on.
Excuse me. Yeah, because also, like I would do like a Legion of Superhero movies. Like that would legit be the final movie, and it would just be because the Legion of Superheroes is the superhero team in the 31st century. So it would just let them know, like, yes, there's still going to be threats out there, but there's always going to be heroes to fend off those threats, even way off in the 31st century. And there was I wasn't sure like if I really wanted to do this, but there was this Alex Ross piece of art where it was the Legion of Superheroes like flying in the sky and stuff, and the camera it's looking down, it zooms out, and it's this old man with kind of like a red like robe and a walking stick, and he's really, really old, but he has like the gold circle rim glasses. He's kind of balding, but he does have a silver S curl, and he's looking up at them proudly.
Aww.
So it's like that would be a great last shot to end the DCU, because the first movie is Superman, and then the last shot is Superman, and this you get the sense like he was able to just live a life as Clark Kent after Superman. Like he was able to kind of just have that peace, and he knows that everything's gonna be okay. Like there's no guilt. Like, man, if I'm not being Superman anymore, then is the world gonna be fine? Like.
It'd be really cool for that last shot. Instead of it looking down at an old man, what if it's like reverse and we're looking up at all the what were they? Legion of Superheroes? Mm-hmm. We're seeing them like fly through the sky, and they're like silhouetted against the sun, and it's a static shot. The camera's not moving, so they go through the frame and they exit, but the camera holds on the sun, and it's just zooming in. It's like, this is Superman. This is his legacy. Like, we haven't forgotten him. He's still, that's him,
That would be, yeah.
And it's dope. Like some really epic music or some shit, and it just like fades to black or cut. It fades to black, but like the sun kind of stays bright for like an extra like 2 or 3 seconds.
Oh, that would be dope.
Oh, that would be so cool. It's like he's always watching, he's always there.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And it's funny that you end it with a shot of the sun, because like I wrote an outline for how I'd want that first Superman story to go, and the first shot it starts off like pitch black, and it's like Superman kind of like breaking through a wall, and then that's where the light is shining through.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh my god! Yeah,
I like that.
I like that a lot, actually. Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah.
So, going back to your Batman idea, and this will be the last character we touch on in this headcanon at the least. Mm-hmm. But you had mentioned how you had a change to his ending. But how would you start it, and what is your plan? What is your ideas for Batman?
This was also one of those ones where it was kind of like, when I was looking at it, like thinking about how Snyder did it and how I would like tweak that a little bit. So with this version of Batman, I wanted him to start off still older, like maybe closer to his 50s, and it would mostly be about like his whole trilogy would be about him having to like hang up the cape essentially, and it would be him like the first movie would kind of be him versus like V for Vendetta a little bit. Okay. Because there's this character from the comics called like Anarchy. So I would have it where he's pointing out to Batman like, hey bro, you being Batman is mostly harmful for the city. At the very least, it's not like doing anything well. So then Batman kind of looks at how has Gotham been affected by his actions, and he realizes like, you know, there's still a lot of homeless people out, like hospitals are kind of understaffed, and, you know, school literacy rates are maybe dropping. So then he decides to run for mayor of Gotham City, and maybe I can change it that way. And that would mostly be like part 2. Mm-hmm. Like at the end of part 1, he decides to run. Part 2 is him running. And then with that one, I feel like you could maybe have some more like classic characters. Like I would have it where he's running against Oswald Cobblepot.
Oh.
And like the Penguin basically hires like assassins to try to kill Bruce Wayne, and so then you could have
the Penguin, not Falcone.
No,
because the Penguin I never see as like a charismatic public figure.
He in Batman Earth 1,
mm-hmm.
written by Jeff Johns, like he was, because in that one he actually I think was the mayor, if I remember correctly. So
okay.
I think you could have him be kind of like charismatic. Like you could have it be where it's like when you're watching him, like you kind of see why the people would vote for him, but you also, as an audience member, you're like, nah, that's like a greasy kind of scumbag. But yeah, it would be like that. So then you could have like Batman versus like all these villains, because you know it's him, and I'll have to. He's it's all of that, and it's all of like the whole like mayor campaign. Also, I forgot to mention in the first movie, Alfred is like in it, but something happened where before the events of the movie start, he died, but we don't realize that until towards the end. So like you see Bruce interacting with Alfred, but Alfred throughout the movie kind of has this like chastising tone. And then like you realize like, okay, this, you know, Alfred died, so this is Bruce kind of hallucinating him,
it's
because
like, hey, Alfred wouldn't say that. It's like, yeah, that's Bruce saying it to himself in his mind.
Exactly, because it would be like Bruce is like talking to like Tim Drake, like, hey, like suit up, and Alfred's like, you really think that's a good idea after what happened? Because, you know, Jason Todd died, and
right.
Barbara maybe died in this version of the continuity, but yeah, so, you know, movie 2, it's him like running for mayor, and then movie 3 is him. He's been mayor for a little bit, and like the city's all cleaned up. And yeah, initially I was gonna have it where he died at the end of this one, because I wanted it to be like, I've thought about Batman a lot, and like he is a cool character, but it's like when I look at it, it seems like the concept of Batman is kind of doing just more harm than good. So I would want his trilogy to be him realizing that, and like I still want to save the city, but maybe I need to go a different way about it. But also, in my head, it feels weird for Bruce Wayne to just only be living as Bruce Wayne in Gotham City and not doing the whole Batman thing. So I was like, what would be a good way for him to actually stop being Batman? Well, he's got to die, because again, I don't see him living without Batman. And 2, if Gotham City is gonna not have a Batman figure, I would want it to be like he actually succeeded in cleaning up the city. So by movie 3, it's basically how Gotham City was in Dark Knight Rises, at the beginning of Dark Knight Rises.
Oh, at the beginning. Oh, okay. I was like, damn.
Not the beginning when like everything was clean, everything was good. Because now it's like his mission is accomplished.
Yeah.
And yeah, he dies. And initially, because Batman 3 would take place before Justice League 3, he dies in that one, so he wasn't going to be in Justice League 3. And I was talking with my brother about it, and he's like, nah, man, I can't like fuck with that. So I was like, okay. So then I was like, well, how could I do it? So then I came to the conclusion, like, well, okay, we'll have him succeed in Batman 3, and he lives, and then he does retire as Batman, and he's able to just do the mayor thing and, you know, be peaceful and stuff. And, you know, maybe Catwoman's there and like she's with him and stuff like that. I don't know. Maybe they're about to get engaged.
Maybe he does it. He experiences happiness for like the longest time ever. Like it's been so long since he's felt actually satisfied. Yeah. And then Justice League 3 starts.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then with Justice League 3, you know, you can have it where when they're fighting Darkseid, you can recreate that image of, I think it was in the comics, I think it was like Final Crisis, or I think it was Final Crisis. There's this image of basically Darkseid killed Bruce Wayne, so it's Superman holding essentially just a burnt skeleton in a Batman costume.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
you feel me? So in Justice League 3, you can have that. So then you can have it where, you know, like he still dies, but it's a more heroic way. It's more significant here. And then in Phase 4, when you have like the Nightwing 2, and it's like him having to deal with the death and da 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 da, and then you can have like a little hero's funeral for him in the movie.
it would be really interesting. I don't know if this fits into your story, but like before Superman returns in Justice League 3, like maybe he's on his way back, but like he's still not there. Maybe Darkseid has already arrived, and Batman, he's like trying to fill Superman's shoes.
Well,
like,
Superman, he's using this, he can hear it as he's coming through.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna make it. Like, I'm not gonna be able to save Bruce. And Bruce, like, he knows it, but
he's like, I know you're listening, Clark.
yeah, he's like, Clark, if you're out there, this is for you, or I'm sorry I couldn't do it, or maybe not sorry, because I don't want it to be too sad after, you know, he finally experienced like success. The Batman thing was more or less a success, or at least the Gotham project, at least. But yeah, like Superman does like just barely doesn't make it. They have that scene where he's holding his charred skeleton, and then it picks up like, okay.
To piggyback off of that idea, like you have where like it is Batman, like and because I had this idea like he's in like a giant like mech suit, and he's like, don't worry guys, I got this, and he's walking up to Darkseid, and again like just kind of like backhands him. The suit's destroyed, and everyone's looking around like, oh shit. But to piggyback off your idea again, like yes, Batman like in front of Darkseid, and like it's like you kind of know that Batman knows what's up, you know that he's not gonna like make it through, but like he's like Darkseid is like slowly approaching him, and like Batman, he's saying all of this stuff that you just said, but like quietly, but like, he knows like Superman here. But like you see Superman, he's in space, flying just super
so fast.
But there's no sound like when you see Superman sing. Like it's just kind of like you hear that background music and Batman's like speech, and with Superman you only see the action, so you see him like fist full forward, like this crazy like red streak just in the sky, and like it's either the emotion or like maybe not like wind, but because he's flying so fast, you see his tears or his eyes like watering up, and he's just
yeah. Like what if we take a cue from Matrix Reloaded, where Neo is flying so fast he's warping space around him.
Jeez,
so like Superman's flying through space, but like all the stars and planets that like are in the background, they just start literally warping around him, so it looks like the background is moving, but he's not. Jeez. That'd be really cool.
That'd be that'd be dope. Dang.
That'd be so cool. And yet he still he couldn't make it.
Like when he gets there like right after Batman is killed. So then you have the moment where like he's looking at the body, and like he's at first he's horrified, and then he's like mad, and then I guess he hands the body out to like someone else, because like he like really quickly like turns around to like Darkseid. Eyes are just, it's not even like red with heat vision. It looks like straight just smoldering like fire. And then you have that really intense Superman versus Darkseid scene. Maybe like he's going so hard, Superman's like low-key destroying the planet or something like that.
Yeah, he forgets himself.
Yeah, he goes like hardcore.
That would be really, because like that would be a really smart way to end Batman, in my opinion, because like it's satisfying, because it doesn't take away any accomplishments from Bruce Wayne. Like he did his thing, and he stood up to Darkseid. Because
also this was after he was.
This is after he retired.
He just started to live a happy life, and also like when he suits back up again, it's not like, oh great, I have a reason to be Batman again. Like he suits up because he recognizes the potential threat that Darkseid has.
It's like, it really just highlights how much of a hero he is. Like he had no reason, like he completed what he set out to do, but he recognizes like, hey, I need to step up right now. Yeah. And he does it, and he makes the ultimate sacrifice.
Oh yeah, he's just in his office, and like maybe Diana comes through, and he's like fine. And then like he's walking like out of his office. Maybe you see like Selena Kyle there, like, and this scene it's no dialogue. They just kind of like look at each other, don't say anything, but they both like know, because she knows Bruce like that, and so it's that like sadness and regret, and like maybe he doesn't even like lean in for a kiss or a hug. He just kind of like looks at her and just like, I'm focused now.
I'm back.
Finally.
That would be so cool.
It's tragic, but it's triumphant, and
it's like heroic.
It's heroic. Yeah. I think I do like that ending more than like having him die in the
third Batman.
Because initially it was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Like if, when something happens, like it just kind of sticks, and then you see that effect on like future movies. Because part of the idea was like, Bruce dies in part 3, but then like Nightwing takes up the mantle of Batman for Justice League. But then it's like, well, that would be weird because if Bruce's whole thing was to retire Batman, it would be
counterintuitive.
Yeah, you'd be like dishonoring his memory and like his mission at that point if you just like put the cape back on again. So that's why it's like there's no more Batman shit like at all after that.
Yeah.
And I initially wanted to emphasize that with Justice League 3, like he's not here, bro.
Well, I do think this is it's a much better way, in my opinion, to have him exit.
It's more like impactful, I feel like. And
it's
just better.
It is. It's like more triumphant. I don't want to like toot our own horns or toot your own horn too much because I do like it a lot. But
thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
We've been talking about an hour already, so there's a lot more to your DCU, I'm sure. But I think now is a good time to wrap it up. You went over Superman and Batman. Do you have any closing remarks for us?
Yeah, I like one thing with this DCU that I was trying to do. One, make it like a fun experience to like hypothetically watch. Have it feel like if you're gonna do a connected universe, like have it feel connected from the get-go. Emphasize Superman, and there was like something else I think I wanted to say, but yeah, those were kind of the main goals, and also just kind of like do things like a little bit differently, like.
And I think having an end is probably the smartest thing that could be done, because
I don't want to be.
You don't want to burn out over it.
Yeah, like the reason I wanted to legit just end it like that was because like you don't want to be that guy that keeps trying to write stories, but there's no ideas there.
Supernatural.
15
seasons.
Yeah, because because that had like some cool ideas, but it's like, nah, you should have ended it in season 5, man.
Yeah.
Even like the MCU now, like kinda, because
it could pick up.
Yes, some of Phase. It seems like they are leading somewhere, but some of Phase 4 did seem a little bit weak, and it's like, maybe you should have just ended it after Infinity War.
Endgame.
Oh, geez, Endgame. Yeah.
Can you imagine they ended after Infinity War?
I said they should do that. Like after I saw it, dude, because I think I texted Doug like, bro, that would be insane. But if they did that, that would be a baller move.
That'd be a power move for sure. No one would ever forget it.
Yeah, bro.
But yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I like it. And we will continue this DCU plan. I don't want to just leave it out in the cold, but part 1 is done. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and leave us a follow on Spotify, on Amazon Music, on Apple Podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel. New podcasts every week, new videos a lot of the time. And I think that is it for us today.
That's right. I've been your host, Nick the Slick Johnson.
And I've been your host, Jake Snyder, the man who will make your day brighter, Snyder.
That's right. Thank you all so much for listening to all of this, man. Yeah, because we have fun making them.
Yeah, and there will be more.
Many more.
Peace out.
Deuces.